Here's how speaking louder can transform your life. And before y'all go in the comments like, oh no, bro, like speaking louder is, don't do that. Just speak low. Just speak how your voice is, whatever. That's false, right? Because I remember when I used to speak, very low. This is how I would be like this. I'm gonna tell you, I would be like, excuse me, can I get a this, right? And I already have a baby face. So me just speaking low, people were less likely to. I'm telling you all, like, you don't believe me. Like, I would be speaking to someone, and then the moment I was saying anything, since I'm so low, the louder person, they will look at that person, right? Because they don't take me seriously, right? And it really depends how you look as well, right? It's not all black and white, because if you're 6'5", you're jacked or whatever, and you say something, people are just gonna listen to you. Or there are, before I'm gonna go into my point of speaking louder, and I didn't change my opinion in this video in a minute. No, what I'm saying is, unless you're like, if you're not speaking at all, people will be interested, but that's different. What I'm referring to is you actually speaking when you go to get some food, right? When someone skips you in line, right? Like, someone skips you in line and you don't want that person to skip you in the line, right? Like, generally, not the person they, oh, it's okay. No, because if you be like, look, I'm gonna tell you, when I was working, let me tell you, I know I'm going off topic. It's just these thoughts are coming. So I remember, so I was working, and I saw this girl. She was, she there was an exit, right? And you weren't supposed to open the door, right? And she opened the door to speak to her friends, right? And I was nervous, right? So I'm like, it's a real story, true story. So I saw her. I was just standing there looking at her, right? Just hopefully she just closes it. But she looked at me. She didn't say anything. And then I told her, I'm like, oh, I don't think you should leave the door open. You're not supposed to. She looked at me, laughed, and continued talking to her friends. Y'all hear what just happened? However, once I'm like, look, you can't. No, you cannot. You gotta close the door. You gotta close the door. She closed the door. She closed the door immediately. Because when I went there, I went there thinking I'm nervous. What if she doesn't take me seriously? What if she says no? What if she doesn't listen? I'm gonna look dumb. Because people were looking at me, right? Because I was just standing there. I was nervous. I was shaking. And I realized me having authority, me speaking louder, caused her to listen, right? And she said, okay. And she said, okay, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for doing that. Whether she was sorry in the inside or not, that doesn't matter. But she did say sorry, and she actually listened. She stopped. But if I was speaking low, she would have done what she wanted, and she would have walked all over me, right? And people look at you speaking very low as weak. And, when I say weak, I don't mean like you can't speak low, but there's certain volumes that you can have, right? I'm not saying to be 6'9" and start yelling. No, yelling is not the answer, but speaking louder. When I say speaking louder, you speak louder than your normal soft voice, especially if you have a soft voice. Like I said, if you speak like, hey, excuse me, can I get a, no, speak like, look, can I get a, right? I'm not yelling, but you hear the bass in my voice. You hear me speaking like a man, or whatever you are, you speaking like a person, right? Because even me, like, if someone is starting to speak like a certain, I get, I need to take this person seriously, right? It doesn't matter how they look. If they have to talk game, that's why you see these 11, 12-year-olds, you're like, oh, I'm not taking this person seriously. And then they just start speaking like, whoa, are you actually 12? Because you look 12, you look 10, but you speak like a grown person. A grown person. Or you see those people with those baby faces look very young, and then the moment they speak, they're like, hey y'all, what's good? And then they speak, I'm like, whoa. You know those videos when it says when the voice doesn't match the face or something, that's nice because yeah, I know it's off topic, but when people are coming to you and they speak to you and like they look mean, they have a beard, they're tall or they're just buff, they're big, but then they start speaking like this, and then you don't know if you should laugh or take them seriously because when they speak they just sound so shy, right? And I'm telling y'all that this was also a true story when I was working at the gym. So whatever age I think I look like is okay, right? When I was at the gym, right, and I was trying to get clients, I was nervous, right? And it's okay being nervous, but I was speaking low, like, oh, can we, like a lot of can we please, because I'm trying to sign clients. I'm trying to, get money. I signed like over 100 or like 300 for, I don't remember, but I signed this big number. But it wasn't because I was nervous or shy. It's because I spoke loud enough. Because when I first got the gym job, I was nervous, y'all. I was forced. I had to speak to so many people. After speaking to a lot of people, I learned how people are, right? And there was even this outreach, and I know I'm going all over the place, but there was this outreach where I had to go to the mall and I had to like get people to get to the gym. And this is a true story. I went to the mall, right? I was nervous. I went to the mall and this guy was listening. However, I was speaking very low. I was so nervous. You can see his body language was facing me, but then he saw I was nervous, I was stuttering, and his body language slowly went this way. And then he walked away. He's like, oh no, sorry, buddy. But you can tell he felt bad, whatever, but you don't want people feeling bad for you. So let's go back to the gym, right? Of why speaking louder is actually good. I was actually approaching random people, trying to get sales, whatever. And I approached people, rejected. I'm like, why am I getting rejected? Why? And then they were telling me all this what I was saying, but it was how I was sounding, right? This girl told me I was trying to pitch, a recovery. It was just a session or whatever that she can go to. And she said the reason why she brushed me off, I worked there. I thought, oh, if I worked there, they're gonna listen to me, but no, that's not false. But the reason she brushed me off is because I sounded so shy. I was speaking low, but she said if I sounded confident, she would have listened to us. I didn't even get to finish what I had to say. She said, oh, I'm good. All right, because I came with this timid energy, this I don't know what I'm doing energy, this woo, like I don't know what I'm, and I realized I signed this client that I signed. It was over 100 hours or so around there for personal training. I signed her, and she even told me, oh, but you're young, whatever. And I looked at her form like, this is not how you do it. You do it like this. You do your bicep curl like this. You do it like, you see this bicep? You do this bicep like this. And then I'm like, how does that feel? Feel good? Look. I'm like, no. I'm like, oh, look, you want more? Look, I get you right. Yeah, you gotta come to my session though. She's like, oh, you look young. I'm like, you gotta come to my session. Okay. I'm a trainer. I know what I'm saying. Like I was calm. I was assertive, right? Because I needed that money. I was hungry. I'm joking. No, but I really wanted to help her out. I saw her and her form was awful. I even told her I'm like, look, your form. And then I signed her, right? And then it's a different like video, but it did have to do with my sales pitch and how you sell people. Because if you frame something, that's why speaking louder is not the only thing, but if you frame something in a way that you sound needy, I don't care who you are, if it's for a girl, if it's to get clients, if you do it like you're needy, I don't care how loud you speak, it's not gonna work. However, speaking louder is one step to getting closer to your goal of getting that client, of people taking you seriously, of getting that job. Because I can like, there's people that like personal trainers Or there's people like, let's say you know something, right? You know that 2 plus 2 is 4, right? That's easy, like that's easy. But it's just an example, 2 plus 2. But if someone's so confident that 2 plus 2 is 22, you just start doubting yourself. But not 2 plus 2 exactly, y'all. This is just, I can't think of an example. But if you're so confident 2 plus 2, you start doubting. I don't care how good you know that knowledge, you start doubting and doubting until you start thinking it's wrong, even though you know it's right. And then you start looking it up. You start, am I dumb or what? So start speaking louder and let me know in the comments how it goes.